Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How's everyone doing? How is everyone doing? How is everyone doing? Um, Give people some time to funnel in. I know it's kind of early, but welcome to the Live Computer World Model Inc. Thank you for coming. Just waiting on our guest. Just waiting on our guest. Yeah, just waiting on our guest. Um, yeah. And there our guest goes. We'll do a little introduction before I let you come on. If you want to use your camera, you can use your camera. You can turn your camera on if you want. Um, do a little introduction before before you come on. If you guys don't know, um, Young Yohn is a food critic in the Philadelphia marketplace. Um, he is an expert, really, really good at what he does. And he has a rating system for his reviews. Um, he's one of the people in Philly that is really, really providing quality content. He's one of the people that really, really is trying to hone in on his craft, and you got to respect people like that. So, without further ado, what's going on, man?
What's going on? How are you? How are you?
I'm
Thank you
good.
for having me on. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. So before we get into any questions, take a few minutes to tell people a little bit about yourself, what you do, why you do it, and how you do it.
So yeah, I'm Young Yohn, Philadelphia, born and raised. Um, I'm currently a senior. I go to Temple University in Philadelphia, study business management, and I hope to get into digital marketing and advertising when I'm done. I'm actually looking at grad schools now. I'm thinking about applying to the University of Cincinnati. They have a good digital marketing program, and I just want to learn more about digital marketing, especially invoking emotions, because I know that's critical as far as social media now. I really started because I used to play baseball, and I always thought I was going to play college baseball. I played for a team called the Anderson Monarchs in South Philly, a great organization. If you guys haven't heard of them, uh, take a moment to look them up. I don't know if you guys know Monet Davis. She pitched in the Little League World Series, but she was my teammate. And all of my friends on that team ended up playing college baseball except for me. And one of the reasons that happened is I just didn't put in the work. I didn't put in the hours. I hated going to practice. And I was actually more disappointed in myself reflecting upon that once I graduated high school than anything. So I decided that I was going to start a YouTube channel because I needed another hobby. And baseball took up so much of my time. Sports in general really took up so much of my time. So I needed another hobby. And I decided once I started the YouTube channel, no matter what, I wasn't going to quit like I did with baseball. So that's kind of how I got here. I wanted to work with a lot of small businesses because I know that they don't get the recognition they deserve sometimes. So I thought if I could put people onto smaller businesses, not only would I be helping somebody or people that I feel like deserve it. But I would also, um, reflecting upon myself, I feel like that's something that I had that helped throughout my career and my journey as a person, with people helping me out. So I just wanted to give something back to these smaller businesses. That's kind of how I got started.
That makes sense. That makes sense. One thing about marketing and and provoking emotion is like a lot of times, because I've been doing fairly okay on Facebook, and I noticed a change when I started, asking questions. Started really, really asking questions that would make a person write an answer that will be more than 2 to 3 words, and that's really, really been helpful for me. Like for example, I posted a cheeseburger, and my question was, "What toppings? What are 3 toppings that you would put on this cheeseburger?" And you'd be surprised at how many comments I got of the different toppings and then the different variations of toppings that they wanted to
Right.
put on the burger. And that just drove my reach higher, and everything like that. And it's because it's creating engagement because it's a question that it's a provoking question. So that drama always, anything that can provoke emotion is going to drive traffic.
Yeah, I think it's also interesting to see the different emotions that are on different social media platforms. Like I post on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and then through Facebook via Instagram, also Facebook via Instagram. But I mean, my biggest videos on, like I said, Instagram. Some of them have over 100K views. Um, a lot of negative comments, honestly. And that's something I've noticed about Instagram. Even when I'm scrolling through the comment section, there are a lot of negative people and a lot of people who, will share their opinions, say, "Oh, that looks disgusting. Oh, I hate this. Oh, you should go here. They're way better." Whereas on TikTok, I haven't really had that experience. I've had more of a positive experience with, people showing support to some of these smaller restaurants, which isn't to say that they don't show support on Instagram after the fact. I'm just saying from my personal experience, even on YouTube, it's been more positive, um, than I would say Instagram, which I feel like tends to be a little bit more negative.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people just want something to say, and then when you're dealing with the younger generation, they like to talk trash behind the computer. They never say it to your face. They always talk trash behind the computer. So they get that liquid courage, which I call it digital courage because they ain't drinking anything, right?
Yeah,
And then they just run off at the mouth, because there's no repercussions for them. If this was back in the day, it'd be a different story. But there also wasn't no social media back in the day, so you know it is what it is. The thing is that one thing I've realized is whether it's a good comment or a bad comment, it's still a comment. You know,
yeah,
still
I,
helping engagement because the algorithm
yeah,
doesn't penalize you for the type of comment that's being, unless it's vulgar. It got cuss words and stuff in it. Then you
right.
get penalized. But other than that, you don't really get penalized for people just not liking. You know.
I was gonna say actually, yeah, the people who do comment the negative things are actually kind of helping you grow and get exposed to different people because the more they comment, the more people end up seeing your video. But I mean, I've also noticed that on other food reviewers. There's this other guy from Philly. His name is Eats with DZ or Eats by DZ. I forget which one, but he posted one time, and then I went into the restaurant. You actually reviewed them once, Farina Devita. The guy Jay. I don't know if you remember Jay, but when
What's
I
the
was
only?
yeah, yeah, yeah. When I was starting out, or not starting out, but when I was kind of still on the up and coming, I'm still on the up and coming, but he told me that he sees like the negative comments as well on my post and he wants to tell people to just shut up. So I noticed that even the bigger spots still deal with all this negativity, and even the bigger content creators deal with negativity as well. And I think that's something that I try to personally. I don't really like it. I try to clean it up. I don't really want to see a lot of negative comments, especially because I feel like it's one thing if you're constructive. It's another thing if you just want to be kind of an a-hole, which I feel like people are more being a-holes than constructive. You could say you don't like the food, but then also list why you don't like the food. Just, like, you don't have to go out of your way to intentionally bash somebody's restaurant or business.
Yeah. I also think that um, with negative comments, I think they're the ones that drive the traffic because they're the ones that's tagging other people to look at it. Like, hey, look at this BS, look at this BS, look at this, this is trash, look at this. The people that like it, they aren't necessarily the people that's sharing it. It is what it is. People don't share positivity. We live in this fake ass world of people saying they want positivity, but at the end of the day, they want the bullshit. They support the bullshit. If you look at people that are doing well, they're usually doing well with controversy. It's very few people you see doing a bunch of positive stuff getting a lot of praise. There's very, very few in between. But the people that's negative are brazen up front, they get all of the views. Why? Because people like negativity. It just is what it is. It's just the way the society has been brought up. And, you know, I think at the end of the day, it's something that you can't stop. I think the thing you have to do is just create the best content you can, and people going to see what they want to see. You know, I
Yeah,
think.
keep going. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I was finished. You go.
Oh, I was gonna say I've also noticed that the like the super loyal followers, they like all your stuff. Especially on YouTube, they'll comment, great video or whatever. It's the people that don't want to follow, or just, I guess, are having a bad day or whatever, that'll be the negative ones. And I honestly don't know if there's a fix for it. Maybe they have to change the algorithm. I've seen a lot of people complain about this on Instagram too, because of how negative and dark Instagram has become under Facebook. But like, I don't understand why you're rewarding people for being, d bags and a holes, and driving all this negative energy into the world when that's just not what we need right now.
I think that I wouldn't say that they're necessarily rewarding the a-holes. I think they're rewarding the engagement, whatever that engagement may be. It just happens that positive stuff doesn't get as much engagement as something that's negative, if that makes any sense.
It
You
does,
know?
yeah, yeah,
So but at the end of the day, you know, you can only do what you do best at the end of the day, and how people perceive it is how people perceive it, you know. I'm pretty sure I was just telling my sisters a couple hours ago about the cheesesteak review that you did um at the place that was on what, 10th and Shump, and you put the cheesesteak in the street for the car to run over it.
oh yeah, yeah. I was gonna say that's the one video that I low
And,
key regret doing.
that video did well, right?
Um, it did moderately well. I don't know if it was the first one. I think the second one I did got less views than the first one, but it did all right. Yeah, I would say it did pretty well.
Yeah, so it's like because it was some type of controversy around, people live boring lives, and because they live boring lives, they turn to social media for that excitement. So to see somebody take something and put it in the middle of the street and say a car needs to run over is that bad, it's like, oh wow, is it really that bad? It's like it excites them for some weird reason. It excites them, and it's like, wow, it excites them more than you saying this restaurant is really, really good. You should go check out the food. 9 times out of 10,
Yeah,
you can go check out the food. But I bet you they'll probably go to that place to see if the cheesesteak was really that bad.
right.
One time there was a family that had a restaurant out here. I forget the name of them, but their food was like half done, horrible, nasty, right?
Hmm.
And they got put on the news and everything like that, to the point that when I tried to go to the store to do a review, the line was around the corner. And that was from negative publicity. So while people don't like negative publicity, sometimes any publicity works because as long as it's getting people in the door for you to do what you do best, that's what matters. And if it's getting people to look at the content to see what you do best, then it is what it is. You got to get it how you live.
I agree. And then I mean, I'll just say another point. I used to I wasn't like super negative in my videos, but I used to give a lot of harsher scores. I'm a little bit more lenient now. But I used to give a lot of really low scores, and I noticed my comments, people were like, this guy has no taste buds, or like, do you like anything at all? Just because my scores would be so low. And those videos actually did better than when I started trying to be more positive about the food and a little bit less critical. And, it's something that I've struggled with a little bit because I don't want to just go out there and bash a restaurant and be critical of them the whole video. Um, but at the same time, I do want to keep growing and reaching more viewers. So it's something that I've had to figure out, kind of how to balance as a person in general. And I feel like I'm kind of at a spot where it doesn't matter if I get the views or not, as long as I have the loyal fans, and they know who they are. That's all I need.
I think at the end of the day, it's all about authenticity. And if something is nasty to you, then it's nasty to you. And don't shy away from saying that. If something is great to you, then it's great to you. Don't shy away from saying that. The minute you try to critique how you do something based off the perception of others is when you lose the people that really, really rock with your content because they're coming to you for that honest review.
Right.
I know no matter what, whether it's a paid sponsorship or whatever, I'm still going to get an honest review, you know?
Right.
And that's what you want. You want to be known for, providing honest, true to heart content because at the end of the day, food is subjective. You
Hmm.
know, I
And
can
that's
like
what I'm sorry. I didn't keep saying what you
I,
were saying.
I can like a place and you may not like a place. I feel like, homegrown, creations and coffee creations is probably one of the best cheesesteaks in the city. Other people would say otherwise. Other people would probably say who is they completely. Angelo's. I think Angelo's is pretty good, but it wasn't in my top five.
Hmm.
My top number one is Jim's. You know, on South Street.
That's
They
interesting.
they don't exist no more. I mean, I don't know if they're going to remodel it or put it back together, but and that's what I kind of grew up on. As a kid living in Fifth Street, Fifth and Washington in the projects. That's where I grew up at. So it's all about perspective. And the thing is that people rock with you, that they'll respect your perspective and they'll take your perspective into, consideration. Like the place you went to on Ninth and Christian, the store that was on the corner, right? I would always go there and get pizza. I never got a cheesesteak from there, but they had really good pizza. Lorenzo's.
Oh, Lorenzo. Oh, Lorenzo's. Okay.
I
I was
would,
like, I was thinking about what you. Oh yeah, yeah, Lorenzo's. Yeah.
but I didn't even know that next door was a cheesesteak place. Maybe I wasn't living in Philly at that time, but I didn't know next door to Lorenzo's was another cheesesteak place. I didn't even know Lorenzo's sold cheesesteaks in the first place. I thought it was just pizza. You know,
I
um,
actually, that video was actually kind of a mistake. I went there to go to a different spot, and they told me that they didn't have any cheesesteaks.
and that
It
was
was a spot literally right next to Lorenzo's. And so what happened was they told me that they were owned by the same people though. And so I went to I just ended up going to Lorenzo's.
so. What did you ever get to go to the spot that was next? First of all, who is the spot that's next door? And is it a new spot?
It's not a new spot. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. It's not a new spot.
And when I say new spot, I mean pre 2010.
Oh, pre two. I don't think so. Um,
Because Lorenzo's been there forever.
I think it was some sort of pizza spot. Hold on, I'm pulling up the map. Um, yeah, that's how that happened though. I wasn't intentionally going to Lorenzo's. It's just I went to go to the spot next to it. And oh, George's Sandwich Shop. That's where I was going originally. because I heard that they actually had good cheesesteaks. So I think I saw it online somewhere. People were like, try George's. So I went to go to do George's, and they told me they were out of cheesesteaks. So that's how I ended up going to Lorenzo's. But I don't think George's is a new spot.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I too thought Lorenzo's was a pizza spot, but they told me that they won like the Italian market cheesesteak championship or something like that. So that's how I ended up just doing that video instead.
So if the Lorenzo's owners own George's and they both sell cheesesteaks, then if you had the cheesesteak at Lorenzo's, then you had the cheesesteak at George's because it would be the same thing, right? Like,
that is my assumption. I mean, maybe they prepare it differently. I remember, and I never get a cheesesteak prepared the way I did at Lorenzo's because I like to keep the variables limited because I started with the American and fried onions. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna do every video American with fried onion to keep it consistent, to keep it fair. Perhaps they prepare it differently, or maybe they use different bread. But I guess because he told me that they're owned by the same people, that they do have the same cheesesteak.
Interesting. And then John's Roast Pork is right there on knife and what was it like?
I do. I have not done a video for John's, but before I started doing the cheesesteak reviews for YouTube, I did a cheesesteak tour. It was me and like 5 of my friends when we were still in high school. And we tried John's Roast Pork. We went to Jim's, Ish Kabibbles. We went to 2 more spots. I'm blanking on them. Tony Luke's. And we went to 1 more spot. And we had a great time, honestly. That's kind of what inspired this cheesesteak show. But I have tried Jim's twice. Or I'm sorry, not Jim's. I've tried John's Roast Pork twice. The first time I liked it more than the second time, which I'm low-key finding about spots. The first time you can never repeat. The first time is always going to be the best or the worst. But you can never have that same experience if you feel like it's the best.
Yeah, I think the one that's on like Knife and Christian, John's Roast Pork. I don't think they sell cheesesteaks there. I think the cheesesteak one is on Snyder Avenue.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the cheesesteak one. Yeah.
No, I'm saying around down the street from Lorenzo's is a John's Roast Pork, but they just sell the roast pork sandwiches.
Oh,
you know
okay.
What I mean? But yeah, but they say John's Roast Pork is one of the best cheesesteak in the cities. If you was to compare it to, let's say, Angelo's, would you say they're neck to neck, or would you say which one would you say is better?
The first time I had John's, I thought it was the best cheesesteak in Philadelphia, but again, I hadn't tried as many other places. The second time I tried it, I thought it was a decent cheese. I think I would have given it like a 7, 7.5, 7.6, 7.7, somewhere in that range. Angelo's was the only real cheesesteak, or not the only cheesesteak, but that was one of the few places where after I finish a cheesesteak, usually I'm full. After I finish that cheesesteak, I immediately wanted to go back the next day. And usually I don't double up on places until like a few months have passed, just because I don't want it to be repetitive. But I think Angelo's is a lot better than John's Roast Pork. And I think one of the things that I like about Angelo's is just the bread. Their bread is kind of like pizza dough to me. I thought it had that similar flavor profile. And I think John's Roast Pork is a bit more generic with their bread. It's still a good cheesesteak, but I think that's what made the difference. That added flavor from I think they put like some sort of sauce on their bread or some sort of seasoning. I think that's what made the difference.
If you had to rate your top 5 cheesesteak places in the city of Philadelphia, just in the city of Philadelphia, not outskirts or anything like that, what would they be?
Top 5. Are we talking just like regular cheesesteaks, or are we talking like specialty cheesesteaks as well?
I would say just go with regular cheesesteaks because most people that ain't from Philly, they're not going to get like a pizza cheesesteak or salmon cheesesteak. They're not going to go.
I was going to say, yeah.
They're going to
like an eye. Yeah.
They were going to go regular beef or chicken. Like they're not going to deviate from that. You know.
All right, so if I was gonna give my top 10, I would say Dolores's, the Rook. Um, are we counting Maniac as Philly or no?
Mm,
That's kind of on the outskirts, but yeah, I mean, I would say Dolores's, the Rook, Cosme's Deli, Angelo's, and then Steve's Prince of Steaks.
yeah, Steve. I've never been to Steve. That's in Roosevelt Boulevard, right?
Yeah, they have three locations though. Yeah, it's in the Northeast,
Mm-hmm.
right off the boulevard. Yeah.
And I don't think I ever been there before. Um,
But
wow.
Steve, oh, I'm sorry. I That is not true. That is not true. Um, Cafe Carmela is in my top five. I I was looking at my old ratings. Um, Cafe Carmela should be two. Should be two. I'm pushing
Where,
Steve's off.
and where's Cafe Carmela from? Right.
It's also in the Northeast. I'm pretty sure it's around the corner from Steve's. Um, yeah,
Mm.
it's Home Ave.
No,
They
I
actually
don't.
might have two Cafe Carmelas, but it's in the Northeast,
So
near
Spin,
Winchester.
have you
It's near
been to that?
Winchester Park.
Have you been to that Spinnerella? Is it Spinnerellas? Yeah, I think it is Spinnerellas, right? When it is also in the Northeast.
Spinnerellas.
I know Foodie Life Mac went there. Shout out to
Are you
Foodie Life.
talking about Stella's?
Yeah, Stella's, that place. Yeah.
No, no, no. I have not been to Stella's. So, um, I don't drive when I'm in the city. So those places that are further, like the Northeast, are a bit harder to get to. Which isn't to say that they're impossible. I could either Uber or like take public transportation. But Stella's contacted me a while ago. And I apologize to them because I keep putting it off just because of the distance. But I was supposed to go to there so many times. I just haven't haven't found the time to get around to it. But I have heard very good things about them, and their cheese stick looks great. My friend actually sent me a TikTok about them yesterday. She said I needed to try it as well. So they're definitely high on the list. I have a lot of spots on the list, um, and they're hard to get to, but I'm definitely trying to make the adjustments necessary to start cranking out reviews.
And you said that they contacted you a while ago. So, with that being said, how do you go about how does how does how do you go about getting people to come to you versus you go to them? Because I've noticed out here in Arizona, I have about 2,100 subscribers, but I'm always the one reaching out. Nobody never calls me and say, "Hey, come review this, come review that." Do you think it could be a matter of, um, well, I don't know. I'll let you answer.
I definitely understand what you're saying. Um, I mean, it's a bit of both. So I have my email in my like Instagram bio or whatever. So the real serious companies, instead of reaching out with DM because they know I might not see it, they'll actually email me and ask me if I can do a review. So that's how I got a few reviews. I've actually had to reach out to some spots about doing reviews for them, and usually they'll say yes. Which I mean I don't mind reaching out to them because we work out a deal beforehand. So I've had to do a little bit of both. Obviously, once you get bigger, the bigger you get, the more spots that are going to reach out to you. But I think it's just finding a balance between creating a way for people to know that you're accepting companies and restaurants, because restaurants, their biggest concern is that there's going to be a fee tied to it when they reach out, whereas if you reach out and you don't state there's going to be a fee, they feel more comfortable to bring you in because the assumption is they'll either give you free food or they'll allow you to collaborate if they have a bigger following than you. So that's been one of the things that I've kind of figured out. So I don't mind reaching out to bigger restaurants, but that's actually another problem that me and my friends, I actually just brought this up, are trying to address. And hopefully, I don't want to say too much. Hopefully, in the near future, we will have something that allows restaurants and content creators and digital marketers to connect easily. Um,
That
yeah,
makes sense. And the reason why I asked it because you said that the Stella's place reached out to you, and it's like, wow, they're not like a lot of big creators that did videos with them, you know. So for them to want you to come, you know, do a review of their place, that's saying something. You know, that means that you're reaching the people. You know.
right. Sometimes it's as simple as leaving a comment on one of their posts. I've definitely had a few people. I did Lucky's Last Chance recently, and I think somebody added me on a Nifty Fifties post that I did, a collab that I did with them, and um, I was like, at Lucky's Last Chance, should we set this up? And then they responded in the comments. They were like, yes, and that's kind of how that relationship started. So sometimes it's as simple as that. I mean, these restaurants, they don't want to pay, hefty fees for these reviews, but they still want to get that exposure that comes with it.
Yeah.
So even something as small as that can definitely go a long way.
How did the Nifty Fifties come about? Because they're a pretty big establishment in the tri-state area. You know.
Yes. So actually, shout out to another black creator. Foodie Life Mac, right? Yeah, you did a video. I don't know why I said
Shout
that.
out to Foodie Life Mac. He's the big homie. You know, I got a lot of love and respect for that dude, man. You know, he's actually the reason why the quality of my videos got better because he was the one that told me to download my videos to what is it? WeTransfer, then go from WeTransfer to my computer, from my computer to what's the name? Because before that, I was just uploading to my email, downloading, and then uploading again, which loses the quality, of the video. But now, after he told me that, you can see the quality of my videos drastically changed. So
Definitely noticed that. Yeah,
I
yeah,
definitely
definitely
want to give him
noticed.
a shout out for that because that's another thing that I want to say is like shout out to that brother because he didn't have to give me that value. He didn't have to give me that game, but he did, and he didn't charge me for it, or he didn't say buy this stupid fucking course to get the information. He's just like, look, I see you doing what I'm doing. You from my city, you doing your thing. Let's connect. Here's some game, and it's like that's how I like to work with people. I understand everybody needs to make money and people make money, but at the end of the day, like some of these content creators, they'll give you generic fucking information, and you're looking at the information like, how the fuck is this supposed to help me? I had a fucking lady, I got 10,000 fucking followers on fucking Facebook, and you want to tell me best thing you could do is not repost somebody else's content? No shit, fucking Sherlock. I got to fucking post fucking 5,000 fucking comments. That's not going to fucking help me go from a
Uh,
million reach to 2 million reach. You stupid motherfucker. I digress. Go ahead. Let me shut my mouth.
no, I thought that was funny, man. I don't think I've ever seen you snap like that.
Oh, that
What
shit.
was the question? I'm sorry, I got caught up in the rant, man. You are hilarious, Lefty.
Um, fucking a. It was about the Nifty 50. Because remember,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
South. I don't know if you remember, but there's a bagel place on Fifth and South, right on the corner. That wasn't always there. It used to be Nifty 50s. That right across the street from, I don't even know if he still be out there, but it used to be Nifty 50s. Across the street used to be the T-Mobile store, and then right across from there used to be the hot dog man stand. He was there for like 40, 50 years. He might be still there now if he hasn't passed away. But he had some of the best hot dogs. It's like best hot dogs. I'm talking about like one of Market Street type hot dogs. You know what I mean? And it was the dirty water hot dogs too. And it was really, really good. But there used to be a Nifty 50s. Now it's a bagel place, like a breakfast bagel place. But they used to be Nifty 50s.
So I did, and this is why I forgot I said shout out to Foodie Life Mac. So Foodie Life Mac connected me with Foodie Flyer, and this is how I got the invite. We did a place. It was me and a few other Philadelphia creators. I don't know if you know Flavors of Philly, or Foodie Schnoob, um, or Full On Philly. But all of us went to Hunt's Annex, and Foodie Life Mac is good friends with Foodie Flyer, so he
Different.
invited me. What'd you say?
That's the that's the that's the guy that holds the camera for him, right?
Yes, yeah. So he set up something with Hunt's Annex to get all of us in there, and I just happened to get an invite from Foodie Life Mac because we had done a few videos before, and I guess he liked me and he liked my style, so that's kind of how that worked out. And so I didn't know this at the time, but the people who own Hunt's Annex also happen to own Nifty 50s. So that's how that worked out. And they saw my work before for Hunt's Annex. They're always reposting, they're always tagging me and stuff. So I already had a pretty solid relationship with them. So when I DM'd the Nifty 50s account, they were more than willing to have me come in and make some content. I even got to make a milkshake. Next time I'm going to make a cheesesteak. Hopefully I can make a cheesesteak. But yeah.
So the first place you said in Annex, right? What's that?
Hunt's Annex.
Hunt's Annex. What is that place?
It's like a bar. It's not in Philly though. It's all the way on. It's in Woodland. So it's probably like 45 minutes from Philadelphia, but they're kind of like a bar. They have some of the best wings some of the best wings I think I've tried. But some of the best wings in Ridley in general.
Oh, Ridley
So
Park is over there in Ridley Park.
yes,
Oh, because you said Woodland. I'm like, Woodland? I don't know what that's at. But I know what Ridley Park is.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
the regional rail goes to Ridley Park. I think it's the
yes, yeah.
Yeah. So wow, that's pretty crazy. Do you and let me know how much time you have, because I know we're at 40 minutes right now, but I didn't know how long I got you for. So let me know, when you got to get ready to go. I know
I'm
you got
yeah, I'm good with the time. I probably have like 30, 40 minutes probably
okay,
before I have to go.
okay. Because I want to ask you about Umi D's, because I know that drops today at 7 p.m. your time. What's that? Will be 5 p.m. my time, 4 p.m. West Coast time, right? I'm correct on that, right?
I I want to say yes, but I could not tell you West Coast time,
Okay.
truthfully.
I lost my train of thought. I'm still even just I'm still pissed off at them fucking created. That's what I was going to ask you. So there's a lot of when I look on Instagram, I see there's a lot of different. I don't know if I can call them food critics.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I have to call them food critics because like they just do Instagram short things and they post it on their Instagram, but nobody's like it's only me. What I don't want to say me because I'm out here in Arizona. I'm not officially back in Philly yet, but there's it seems to be more people doing Instagram than there is doing YouTube. When in terms of collaboration, um, how difficult is it to collaborate with other content creators, being as though that it might be somebody like, for instance, I have 10,000 followers on Facebook. I always felt like I should be able to use that as a bargaining chip because of the many views that I get on a post on Facebook, but it hasn't really worked out like that for me. I think a lot of people just look at the numbers that's on Instagram because that's where you're at. If that makes any sense.
Yes.
Um, so do you like to collaborate, or do you reach out to collaborate a lot, or you just kind of like I'm gonna do my own thing. If something happens, something happens.
Are you talking about with restaurants or just content creators in general?
with content creators, like say, like you
Okay,
just
okay,
Foodie Life Mac, how you guys collaborated,
okay.
and then y'all came back and do other collaborations, like which I feel like y'all worked out a good deal, and like y'all really really great together. Like, how hard is it to build relationships with content creators in the city like that? Because it's really a little rough, you know what I mean? It's like, we got that attitude. It's a little rough out there, you know what I mean? People be on some, you dick eating shit, just trying to get
So
by.
yeah, I would say it's I mean, it depends. I don't do a lot of collabs with like different social media personalities just because I don't know how it's gonna work out. The Foodie Life Mac thing actually kind of happened by accident. I don't mean to expose them or anything, but we actually had this conversation. It started because he commented on one of my videos, and like he told me back then before we even met or knew each other, he like saw one of my videos and he was like thinking about hating just because. And like I don't want to like say he's a weirdo or nothing because he's not a weirdo, but he said he was gonna like he was like low key hating because he thought he was the only one doing like that black influencer cheesesteak thing on
Yeah,
YouTube, which at the time that's kind of what my thought was as well. So I don't blame him for thinking that. I was like I kind of when he commented, I was like, who is this guy commenting on my stuff? Because he commented on a few videos and I was like, who is this guy? But I mean from there I think I found his Instagram or he followed me on Instagram, but one of us followed the other. And one day I just reached out because I saw he was doing a lot of cheesesteaks and I thought it was dope. I did cheesesteaks too. I was like, do you want to do a video sometime? And he was very receptive to it. He said yes, and that's how that video happened. And I mean, I don't really consider foodie like a food critic. I consider him more of my friend. So we've
yeah,
kind of gotten past, he's just another influencer. We're doing it because we know we work together. We know we work well together and we can get views. We're doing it because we enjoy cheesesteaks and he thinks I'm funny. I think he does, he elaborates on cheesesteaks and other foods better than I do. So we can kind of play off each other's skills and each other's weakness like that. And that's why we have such a great back and forth. But to go back to your question, I reached out to Dar the Food Guru and Eats with DZ and a few other bigger accounts than myself about doing collabs. And they said no, but they did give me a very valid reason. They said no because they don't work with other um, content creators and influencers. They solely work with restaurants. I've noticed this about Dar the Food Guru. He he's always by himself in the videos, so it is hard. Partially because I'm also one of the youngest people doing it, so it's harder to find people in my age range or age group that want to do it. I kind of have to find older people, and I don't feel like when I reach out to older people, I have that respect. It's kind of like an ageism thing. They're like, who is this young college kid doing these reviews? So I think that's been a bit of a struggle. But like I said, anytime I've reached out to like foodie, it hasn't been an issue. I think if I tried to find more content creators who wanted to do collabs, I probably could. It's just difficult because I don't see a lot of people collaborating on Instagram, which is my primary platform. Maybe I could find people on YouTube who want to do it, but Instagram is a bit harder because people just want to work with restaurants. They don't necessarily want to work with other content creators unless they're, like big time or on their level.
yeah, that makes sense. Would you say that the grind on Instagram is vastly different from the grind on YouTube, or you think it's one and the same? Because you have
I think,
YouTube, you know.
yeah, I think it's different mainly because the algorithms are way different. Like I used to be able to put out reels, and this is one of the things that has killed my reach recently on Instagram. This is one of the things I hate. I used to be able to put out reels on just the reels platform. Like you could post them off your feed, like don't show them to your feed, and they would go directly to reels. So when people were scrolling through reels, they could see your posts. And so Instagram has changed that, but I don't understand it because some people still have that ability and some people don't. Like my friend, he sells sneakers. He has that ability. I don't know why, but Instagram has changed that, and that has recently killed my growth. There was a point where I was getting like 100,000 um, views a month on my reels, and that's when I really started growing my Instagram account. I probably got like 1,000 followers in like 2 months or something like that, which isn't crazy, but I was getting a lot more followers and a lot more views than I was before. Now that Instagram has switched that back, I get almost no views unless I'm doing a collab, which is very annoying because it's based off of engagement. So while the people who already follow me like my posts, they're not necessarily, like you said, sharing or commenting or doing the extra stuff. Whereas YouTube, I feel like that's just a whole different grind altogether. I think YouTube is actually a lot harder. Even though I started my YouTube before I started my Instagram has surpassed my YouTube, and it really didn't take that long for that to happen. But I also feel like YouTube, it's a little bit more niche, especially in my case, because I started with cheesesteaks. So once I tried to switch away from cheesesteaks, I started getting less and less views. And whereas with Instagram, I did post cheesesteaks, but I also was able to post other things like burgers, cutlets I did for a while, even something like super like donuts. I was able to post those and still find success when I posted on Reels. So I think now it's fairly even just because Instagram has taken away that ability to post off my page, which allowed me to find new viewers and new followers instead of now where I'm just posting to the same people who already follow me pretty much and hope that a few people who don't follow me see it. So I think that's hard, yeah.
I think Meta, which is the search engine behind Facebook and Instagram, they're starting to push more for putting people's content in front of people that don't know them, versus because they want to be a search engine like YouTube. But all these places want to be each other. Facebook,
Hmm.
YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. So it's the Meta is starting to really really um reward people by putting their content in front of um, newer people when they get engagement with their people that's following them. You know,
Right.
I think that's
I
how.
actually, yeah. I was just gonna say I have a question for you because you're talking about reaching new followers and getting new engagement. Um, YouTube Shorts. How do you feel about them? Because I noticed that your YouTube Shorts are definitely popping off, and I have found a bit of trouble with my YouTube Shorts where they don't reach as much engagement as I would hope. But when I post on my page that's only Shorts, I have a secondary page. Um, I have no problem with engagement or reach. I don't know if that's an issue that you found or if you've kind of had issues with that.
Well, I've noticed that since I started doing shorts, the shorts get a lot of views and they get you a lot of followers, but the money's not there. And at the end of the
Hmm.
day, we're in it to make money. We're not in it to just keep posting for the rest of our lives for 50 cents. You know? So for me, while I feel that the shorts is definitely something that's needed, I don't know how it affects your long form content where the real money is. You can't put an ad on a 30-second video,
Right.
but you can put multiple ads on an 8-minute video. And that's how the money is made. Unless you have a skill like yourself where you can go out and get brand deals and stuff like that. I don't have that skill. So for me, I what I'm doing now is try to figure out how to transition back to doing long form content more than putting out 3 to 4 shorts a day, because it makes the numbers look good. You got 180,000 views for the month,
Right.
but 180,000 views on an 8-minute video is a totally different check than 100,000, 180,000 views on shorts. You know, so I guess it just is a matter of, you know, do I think they're beneficial? Yes. Do I think you should do them? Yes. But I think that you should also focus on more of the long form content like these live streams like this. Before back then I used to do live streams 6 days a week. You know, I was making you
Hmm.
know couple $1,000s a month off of just donations and stuff like that. So it's so many different like algorithms and so many different things that will allow you to make money. It's just you got to find the right combination because you only got but so many times, so many hours in a day, and you can't be sitting there, you know, while people think it's easy to upload a short. You got to make sure that you got the right keywords. You got to make sure you're not using the same keywords so you don't get banned so you don't get shadow banned for that. You want to make sure that your title's right and things of that nature. So, did I answer your question? I think I might have went on a
Yeah,
tangent.
you did. You did. You did.
Yeah, but I feel like that they're definitely there's a place for them. But and I think that place is to help with the growth. Another thing that I've realized is that the 9 times out of 10, the people that watch your shorts are not going to watch your long form video. So in
Hmm.
essence, you're building two different audiences. You're building an audience for your shorts and you're building an audience for your long form content. Now, some of those people that love your shorts may come over to watch your long form content, but it probably won't be the other way around. So that's another reason why if you're putting up 2 to 3 shorts a day, you best be putting up some long form content as well, because you're fighting in two different algorithms. If that makes any sense.
Do you ever feel overwhelmed or worried about burnout? That was one of the things that I used to um, deal with, especially when I was doing food reviews. There would just be times, really for like a month or a few weeks, where I would just not want to create any content at all, just because I was working so hard before. And like I said, I don't have a car, so it would literally take me a few hours if I had to go somewhere um, that was far away.
Well, I think the thing is that when you start implementing live streams, or like I use StreamYard, right? So
Hmm.
anytime inside of StreamYard, I could do pre-recorded videos. So, for instance, I did the video about Keith Lee and the three places he should not go in Arizona. It was still food related, so it's still stuck with the content on my channel, but I didn't have to go anywhere to do it. So if you can incorporate some of that with the food reviews, because at the end of the day, you can't eat 5 days a week. Well, you're going to eat 5 days a week, but you can't film all that. You can't
Hmm.
film yourself eating 5 days a week. It's going to be very, very hard to do. So I always say implement something alongside of the food reviews. Like if you think about it, like I do food reviews, also sometimes do celebrity news, and I also post reels of my cats and stuff too. So they also help, but I just don't do long form videos of the cats. It's just all shorts. But um, and I do the live streams. The live streams just basically what's going on with my life. Me trying to get disability, so forth and so on. So I'm creating different avenues so that way I'll always have some type of content to create. Uh, and I'll get to the point where, I'll always have something to do every day and I won't have to go out and feel like I'm forced to go out and eat something that I really don't want to go eat. Or I'm fidgeting because I don't have a food review done for this week. I'll just go and just do my top five here, my top five there. And that's something that you don't need to be at a location to do. You can do that, you know, from the comfort of your own home, if that makes sense.
That does make sense, and that's something I've kind of started to try to do. Even if I'm still doing the review, at least I won't announce to the restaurant that I'm going to the review. I won't need to get the extra B-roll, which does take up time as well. Maybe I'll just order it on like Uber Eats or DoorDash, And I'll do kind of like a mukbang style where I talk less about the food, but I can still hit on some talking points, and I can just share generally what's going on with me, which is something else that I kind of struggle with, especially because I'm doing food reviews, and I feel like it should be, especially if I get free food, I feel like it should be more to the point, focusing on only the food. Um, I struggle to, I guess, be a little bit more relatable. Like, I've had my channel for 2 years, but somebody commented on the first Farina DeVito video, which is probably, I'd say, like 6, 7 months old now, maybe even 8. He was like, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, you ask us to tell us about you, or tell us about ourselves, but we don't know anything about you. So showing more personality, because I'm a pretty goofy guy. If you follow my Instagram, you would like see some of those clips. It's a bit harder for me to show personality like that, especially when I'm trying to maintain a certain level of professionalism with these restaurants.
Yeah, I mean, I think also, you also got to be true to who you are, um, and if you're a funny dude, then you should be funny in your reviews. Whatever you are in real life, that should come through in your content, because people when they meet you, they're expecting to meet, they're expecting realness, so they're expecting to, we're not always the same person you may see on camera,
Right.
but there should be some type of similarities. You should definitely not be one person on camera and then somebody see you in the street and you're a whole different type of person. That should never be, you know, because that if you've been doing content for years and years and years, that personality that they come across should be a personality that they'd already seen before. Does that make
Hmm.
sense? You
Yeah.
know, so the thing is that you're into baseball. You could talk about baseball. The only thing is with the mukbangs and ordering from DoorDash and stuff like that, because I feel like when you get the food, the quality is because it's coming from so far, you're not getting it at its hottest point. So I feel like sometimes when you do reviews off of food like that, you, you you're hurting yourself and hurting the channel and hurting your other business because you're not eating the food at its hottest point. You're getting it through a delivery service that may even sometimes take 45 minutes to get delivered to you, you know?
Hmm.
And if it's a pizza and it's in a box, it's going to flop. So, like, I feel like if you're doing a mukbang, right, don't do a mukbang, but let it be more about, like they said, more about, you know, the topic versus a review.
Right.
Let the view be where you're at the location at its hottest point possible. You know, I feel like those are really, 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 really more beneficial to not only you but to the business that you're reviewing because you're getting
Right.
it the hottest possible.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. The other thing I think about, though, like a little bit of a counterpoint ish, is that I also, since I announced that I'm like an influencer of sorts, I don't want to say I get like special treatment, but perhaps I get better quality food than they would otherwise serve to their regular customers, which is something I noticed that like a Keith Lee does. He doesn't even announce that he's going in, or he'll send somebody else in for him. That way he can get the realistic experience. I have thought about it. I mean, me personally, I don't really consider myself I am a food critic, but I'm also a content creator. So I love food, but I also love, creating from the shots I get, trying to be a little bit more cinematic, if that makes sense. So I, I think that I get a little bit special treatment. Honestly, I have had like restaurants tell me, "Oh, we're gonna add a little bit extra steak because you're Young Yohn," or do you want me to reheat? Like I did a video for Del Rossi's, and so while I was getting the content, the pizza got a little cold, which wasn't a problem. Honestly, it was good pizza. I was gonna do the review with the medium temp pizza, I thought the review would have turned out fine. I've already had their pizza before, so I know the whole experience. But they literally took the pizza after I took uh, footage of it, and they put it back in the oven, which is cool. That's cool. I mean, if that's the experience you want to give people, that's the experience you want to give people. But I also think about the people who are like working or coming from somewhere else who place orders and then they wait a little bit and the food gets a little cold, and then what do? They have to reheat it. So I think about that as well.
What I normally do when I go into a restaurant, I go up to the restaurant, I pay for the food, and I tell them don't make it yet. I get all of my B-roll. I even do my intro, and then I tell them to make the food. So when the food comes, 9 times out of 10, I'm taking my Instagram video, I'm taking my B-roll of the food, and I'm setting the camera up starting. So my wait time is really not that long. I'm usually 3 to 5 minutes, and then I'm recording eating the food at its hottest point. You know, and I feel like that's the best way to do it because B-roll and stuff like that can take so long because you kind of got an idea of how you want your video to go. So that's how you're probably going to shoot your B-roll and all that. So I don't know if you do that, but I would tell them make the food when I tell you to make the food. I'm gonna pay you now, but I don't want you to make it until I tell you to make it because I'm going around getting B-roll and stuff like that. And if that's a problem, then I'll come back and pay for the food when I'm ready to eat the food. You know?
Right.
So then that way you're getting it at its hottest point. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. So but yeah, man. So you got and this will probably be the last question I have for you because we're a little over an hour right now. So Umi D's, it looks like that's coming out tonight. How was that experience going to that place? Because the oxtail cheesesteak is something that's like really, really running rampant in Philly right now.
How was going to that place? It was great, actually. You know what? That's another one that actually reached out to me. So they followed me on Instagram and then they DM'd me. They told me they were looking for influencers, and that actually was in the works for a while. They asked me to come in once. I forget what happened, but we canceled it, and then they had some issues with their staffing, so we had to reschedule it. Eventually, we got it done, but it was great. It's a black-owned business, so I love supporting, other black-owned businesses. I'm not gonna say I've never had oxtail. I think I've only had oxtail once or two other times before I tried the oxtail cheesesteak. So it was definitely something new. I also got some egg rolls that were fantastic. They had like salmon egg rolls, they had shrimp egg rolls, they had seafood egg rolls. So those were also a different experience because if you watch my channel, I don't really do um anything other than sandwiches pretty much. I've started to try to do more, but I do a lot of sandwiches. So it was just a different experience. I wanted to do more specialty cheesesteaks like that, but they're hard to find. Not a lot of places want to have that variety. So when a place like Umi D reached out, I knew I had to jump on it.
Thank you, Computer World Modern Inc. Thank you for staying. Thank you for coming. I really, really appreciate you. Really, really appreciate your support. Thank you so much. Yeah, like I said, my sisters and them just went to the cheesesteak bar down in Center City, Center City, right off of JFK. I think it's 18th for JFK. The new Taste Cheesesteak Bar. It's a new place in Philly. I don't know if you heard of it, but they had the oxtail cheesesteak there as well. And yeah, they said that thing is expensive, but they said it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, Umi D's. I mean, I probably should have put this in the video. Their oxtail cheesesteak is like $30, which is definitely the most expensive cheesesteak I would say I can remember to date that I personally tried. But it was worth the $30. I'll say that much. It definitely was. And like I said, I like trying things new. That's why I like the homegrown video. That's why I like Mark's Barbecue, because a lot of these places, you've been to Philly. A lot of the new wave is seeded roll, fried onions, Cooper sharp, or seeded roll, Cooper sharp, whatever toppings that person likes. A lot of those places have started doing that, which is cool. If you want to do that, that's the way you want to do it. People like that steak. I don't have a problem with it, but the places that have variety are definitely the ones I'm more excited to try and the ones I'm more interested in, just because I know you're not doing the same thing as something else or somebody else.
Yeah, I just can't get down with the Cooper Shark. Like it's just, I felt like my Angelo's pizza would have been 10 times better with the American cheese, you know, or even with the cheese whiz. If they're using the craft cheese whiz, that other stuff is just horrible. But they're using the craft cheese whiz that Jim's and them use, and they got something there. So that's why that place I want to do over again. Um, uh, what is it? The food truck, the Roscoe's. I want to
Oh,
do them.
Rocco's?
Yeah, Rocco's. I want to do them over again. That cheesesteak was horrible.
I've
Um,
actually never. I was supposed to do Rocco's a while ago. Was that with you or was that with Foodie Life
I
that
think
I
it
asked to
probably,
do Rocco's?
I think it probably was with Foodie because I was me and you were supposed to do homegrowns and we were supposed to do the YOLO breakfast sandwich, but my flight got delayed. You know,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
so but before I let you go, man, let everybody know what your channel is. Let everybody know what your social media is, and let everybody know what time your video drop.
Thank you so much for having me on, Lefty. I actually really appreciate it. My name is Young Yohn. Like I said, my YouTube channel is just Young Yohn, YOUNGYOHN. My Instagram is young.yon, spelled the same way. So if you guys want to come check it out, please. I would love and appreciate, the support, comments, feedbacks, all that sort of thing. Definitely would be helpful for me in my experience, and I look to continue to grow, continue to create, and hopefully Lefty and I will get a video in when he's back. We were supposed to get one in. Unfortunately, things didn't work out, but we will definitely get one in.
Please believe it, please. Holler if you can, no bother. Guys, I'll make sure that I put the link to Young Young's YouTube channel and his Instagram in the description. Please go subscribe to both and check out his Umi D's video that's dropping in a couple hours now.
7 p.m. East Coast time. I'm not sure what that is. West Coast time.
I believe that's 4 p.m. West Coast time. So 7 p.m.
4 p.m. West Coast time.
Yeah. So and you just had one person just subscribe. So that's a good thing.
Thank you, Computer World. I appreciate you. Appreciate you so much.
Well, look, man, I'm not gonna hold you up, man. I thank you for allowing me the opportunity to interview you. Also, check out Nicky Leaks, NICKYLANCE. He's an Italian dude in South Philly. He does food reviews and he's a filmmaker. I think you guys definitely should link up and do some collaborations because I think that you guys both bring something different to the marketplace, and I think guys can both benefit off each other.
How did you say that was spelled? I'll definitely check him out though.
Nicky Licks. So it's
Okay.
NICKY, and his last name is LANCE. You know
Lance. Oh, Lance. Oh, okay. Okay.
what did I say? Leaks. I'm always
Yeah, I
butchering
think he's.
his name,
I think he said Lakes. Yeah.
but he's a good dude. Really really into filmmaking. He actually has a movie up on what is that Amazon right now. So I think you guys should definitely connect. I think you guys will make some great content together.
I think we will too, and I'll be sure to reach out to him. Hopefully, they respond. Hopefully, hopefully I can do some more collabs. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, with that said, man, that's the end of the show, guys. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, click the bell, turn on all notifications so when I drop a video, you can be notified. Leave a comment on how you feel about this interview and what do you want to see from me in the future. I'll see you in the comment section. Let's go.